the true false.
Okay, give me 1 second.
So today we're gonna have Hasan's Slackbot. Hasan.
Yeah. By the way, Hasan, the blog post is excellent.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad you got a chance to see.
Yeah, just read it, and Nathan and I are planning to do some things with it. I'll talk to you about it soon.
Don't do anything evil.
Alrighty, I'm gonna get started. Okay, so I wanted to start with the good first issue corner. We sometimes have that in our Winglish show as well, but I thought that it will be a good opportunity to do it here as well. So for those who are not familiar with good first issue corner, it's basically about issues that are not easy, but allows you to go ahead and implement and deep dive into issues pretty easily and pretty simple. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't need any help, but definitely if you need any help, we're here to support. So how do you do it? The setup here is not very convenient to me. Give me 1 second. Just let me know if you can still hear and see me. Can you still see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So basically, you go to the issues here, and you can click on the good first issue, and then you have a list of good issues that our friends went through them, and they tag them as good first issues. As I said, good way to start and play with the Wing. So there is a pretty long list, and we're here always to support and help you basically find the right issue for you. It also has other tags, as you can see, enhancement, SDK, bug, compiler, testing. That's the area that basically the issue is related to. I won't go through all of them, of course, but I will go through some of them. I really like those who are basically extension to existing methods. So Wing is multi-cloud, and we have a cloud.bucket resource, and it has several methods. One of them is signed URL, and probably it's implemented for GCP, I'm assuming, and for AWS for sure. It is not implemented for Azure target. So this issue is about implementing the signed URL method for cloud.bucket in Azure. Because I'm assuming we already have an implementation in AWS, we also already have an implementation in the console for testing. So it should be pretty nice to go ahead and do those type of methods. Another one is rename for Azure target. And yeah, and that's about it. We have plenty of those, I'm assuming, for Azure and GCP, because most of them are implemented in AWS, if I'm not wrong. There is another nice thing, which is handle duration in signed URL implementation for every cloud provider. So we want to basically set default for the duration in the signed URL method. Now, if it is already implemented, then we just need to add the duration for every cloud provider. And as we already saw, for Azure, we also need to implement the signed URL method. So this is one domain of those good first issues that we have. And I really like those because you can actually see the infrastructure and how we build things, and you can see the separation that we have between cloud providers. So it's really good way to start and get familiar with Wing. Another domain is basically things like missing completions for SuperDot. When we type in the ID SuperDot, we basically want to be able to see methods. And it's about the VS Code extension. I have another one which is not the same, but it reminds me that issue. It's basically many functions of utils should not be listed in pre-flight. So we have the in-flight and pre-flight concept. And when you do util dot, you'll see methods in the pre-flight scope that we're not supposed to see them. They're supposed to be there in the in-flight scope. So this is a bug in the SDK area. I have a few more. I won't go through all of them. If you want to go ahead and work on one of those, reach out, let me know. If you want to pick up another issue, you can just go through the list, make sure the issue is not assigned to someone else, and you can just get started. Feel free to always reach out to me. I'll help you to get started. And I'm hearing that someone was raising his hand. Yes, Hasan.
Hey, Ravital. Just curious, do we have a quick link that brings them to this filter somewhere in Discord that we can show?
Yes, I will share that. And we will also have a bot that Nathan is working on. Every time we have a new good first issue that is being tagged, it will go ahead to the channel. Right, Nathan?
Yeah, we'll reveal that soon. Actually, Hasan helped convert the JavaScript I wrote into Wing, so it's almost ready.
He knows why he was asking that question, Hasan. All righty. So if we don't have any further questions, we'll move back to the really interesting part, owned by Hasan. Yeah. Hasan, it's all yours.
Cool. So let me get my screen ready here. I'm going to share off some Slack goodies today. I've kind of showed this off a few times. So like my well has been running dry for like different Slackbot examples. So I decided today that, like, not to get anybody's hopes too high up, we're going to build the most helpful Slackbot in existence. So just something simple. There's also the other really big thing I'm hoping to accomplish today is something that nobody else in our team has been able to do so far, and that is not expose a token as I go through. So we'll see if I get lucky enough to be the one.
To be the one.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody knows by now, but if not, like, we have a public repository called WingLibs. This is where all of our like trusted Wing libraries go and to exist, to be easily
Hasan,
used.
can you zoom in a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Better? Awesome.
Yep.
And recently I added a new addition here called Slack, right? So this allows us to build Slack applications in Wing, hopefully pretty easily, and also deploy these to the cloud and just use this like bring Slack library. So let me pull up my VS Code. Hopefully that changed, right? Like I'm not just sharing my browser. Cool.
Yep.
All right, so just like a quick demonstration on like how do we get up and running with the Slack app. We're going to build a super quick app, and then we're also going to deploy this to AWS and see like everything work end to end. But the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a Slack app that we're going to use. So there we go. Also, there's a blog post Shai mentioned earlier that just got, I think, released last night that does like a walkthrough of a very similar project. So if you want, we'll make sure that's available. So I'm going to hit create new app. I'm just going to create one from scratch, and we're going to call this most helpful app ever. And I'll just use a testing workspace for this. Cool. So once I have this created, the only thing that I'm going to set right now for like my purposes is I'm going to go into the OAuth and permissions, and add a single scope to just be able to chat in public channels. All right, so once we've done that, we have to install this into our workspace. It's 2 clicks, so I just got to hit allow. And this is where I'm going to move it off the screen because I know it's going to show a token because I've done this 3 times. Okay. So now with my token in hand, I'm going to paste this off screen so I don't lose it. Cool. I'm going to go back to VS Code. And so here I'm going to just type, oh, sorry. So I've just got a main.w file here. I've also pre-created my package JSON. Spoiler, I'm probably going to use OpenAI, but the bare minimum right now is I need to have required the Slack library in my dependencies. So npm install. Could have done that to save a little time, but it's okay. All right. So to get started, we will say bring Slack. And I want to create a Slack bot. And it's as simple as just new Slack.app. And inside the constructor, I'm required to provide the token that we're going to use for this Slack app. And because the expected type here is a cloud secret, I need to bring the cloud library. So bring cloud. And we'll do let Slack token is new cloud secret. I'll give it a name because I like the neatness. Okay, so now token is my Slack token. All right, so with that, I now have this Slack app that I can interact with. Very small example first. I just want to do the simplest thing I can think of and post some message to a Slack channel. So I'm going to put this inside of a cloud function. And we can call slackbot.channel. And here you can either provide a Slack channel ID or you can give it a Slack channel name. So I think I created a Slack channel already to test this. Yeah, Wing Workshop. And this will give me a channel back. So I'll store it. Right. And once I have this Slack channel to interact with, I can just say channel.post. So there's 2 different post options here. We can either post with a plain string, or if we wanted to use the Slack BlockKit API, there's also some BlockKit support in the Slack library where you can craft a message, make it nice and fancy. But here we're just going to simply say, hello, Wing community meeting. Now, the final thing I need to do before this is ready to run is I need to seed the secret that I'm going to be using, right? So this can be done actually fairly recently with the Wing secrets command. Copy my token again. Paste. All right. So now with that done, I'll just wing it. And I'll put these side by side so that we can see them. All right. So when I invoke this function, I'm expecting to see a message in Slack. Thank God, it worked. So this is like the simplest use case, right? We're just posting some message into Slack. But what's more exciting is when we can do things in responses to events in Slack. And if you ever built a Slack bot before, maybe you use JavaScript, you typically have to set up some sort of like Express server, open up tunnels. We're not going to have to do like 1/10 of that work to get this working. So let me come back. I want to now just do like a really simple echo command. I think would be nice here. So I'm going to say slackbot.onEvent, and here we can define a Slack event that we want to listen to. So I'm going to use app mention, and then the in-flight that it gets past the context and the event. I'll show those in just a second. Cool. So here on the event, we have access to basically the context, and the context is like right now it's like what channel and what thread that this event happened within. And then we also have access to the actual like whole raw event from the Slack app mention event, where we can pull anything that we want out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the event message. So let var event message. And because I already know how this event's nested, because I've logged it before this, I need to get the text out of the event. And brain fart. Oh, okay. So basically what I'm expecting is like there's going to be, some mention here and then a message, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to strip off the initial mention and then just care about the actual message that comes through. So we're going to do a little bit of cleaning here. We'll just do it on the first space. I think that'll work. Oops. And then I think I also need to trim this. Yeah, we'll do it just to be safe. Sorry, I can't type. Oh, duh. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, I was missing something. Anyhow, this will work. And then I'm just going to check if the message itself started with echo. So if event message dot starts with echo, then here I'll say context channel post. And then we'll drop the echo bit. All right, sorry, little nasty, a little ugly, but it's going to work. We're going to get there at least. So now I've got this app mention event that's going to check and see if it was mentioned with this echo prefix, and then hopefully spit back the message into the channel. There's one thing that we need to do in order to enable our Slackbot to listen to events, and that's go into the Slack API dashboard again. Oops, if I scroll up, I'm going to do a token. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So we come here to events and subscription, and we're going to toggle on listening to events. And here with the Slack API, if we're not using WebSocket mode, we're required to give some sort of request URL. So if you've built Slack bots before, you're probably familiar with this, and you'll need to handle like the event as it comes in and provide back a challenge parameter. For our Wing library, this is actually all handled for us. And even setting up the tunnel, we don't need to import like ngrok libraries and do it ourselves. We can just come back to the Wing console, and I have an endpoint here that I'm going to use the tunnel feature to expose it. Give it just a moment. Cool. And copy link. So here we can see that we actually get this like URL that's created for it. Oh shit, what did I click? Come on, there we go. that was given to us to use for exposing some endpoint. And I just need to append here Slack events. And it gets verified. So the local sim version, it's already handling all of the challenge requests for us. We don't have to write any of that out. So we just have to provide it with this request URL. And I need to add what actual events that I care about here, which is the app mention. So I'll save it. And because adding app mention changes the scope, we have to reinstall our app into the workspace. There we go. All right. So now, no whammies. I should be able to say at most helpful bot ever, echo, hey there. Sure, invite them. And there we go. So now I've got this response from the event, right, when we were mentioning our bot. And so we'll see there's actually a bug here where if I don't respond to an event with the Slack API, if you don't respond to the event within 3 seconds, then it resends the event. But I also have a plan on fixing this in this demo. All right, so open that back up. Those are the two main features right now of the Slack library, is being able to get a channel and post into it, also to be able to respond to events as they come in. So what I want to do now is actually take this and make it the most helpful bot ever, like we said we're going to do. So for this, we're going to make use of a little bit of OpenAI, because I haven't got a chance to demo this yet, and I want to jump on the hype train. So we already have a Slack library called OpenAI. If you've watched the Wingly, you've probably seen it demonstrated before. Okay. And so here we go. Let OAI equal to new OpenAI dot OpenAI. And I think I can just say API key secret. And I need to provide a secret just like I do with the Slack bot. So let OpenAI token. And we'll pass it in. Cool. So now I've got my OpenAI that I can work with. And what I'm going to do now is save us a little bit of time. Oh, there we go. All right, so rather than do this echo funness, we're just going to imagine that our user will ask some sort of question, and we are going to answer whatever their question is. So OAI dot please dot create completion, answer this question. And that'll just be the event message. And sure, I'll say model GPT-4 Turbo. And so now context.channel will post the response back to our user. Okay, and then I need to seed that secret. So I'm going to rerun Wing secrets. Unfortunately, I have to reprovide the Slack token right now. And my OpenAI, Jesus. All right, and we'll wing it again. Okay, so now I'll pull Slack back up and I'll say, most helpful bot ever, what should I do today? So take a second to generate the response. It's going to work. There we go. I know it was going to work. So here we now see that we got a response from OpenAI, what we should do today, right? I still don't think this is helpful enough. Personally, I would like to learn. Sorry, let me shut this up. So this takes well over 3 seconds to respond because of how long the OpenAI response takes to generate. But I want to add a little bit of more fun on this. I think we still have time, right, Revital? Okay.
Yep.
So I think it would be more fun if this bot challenged me to learn new languages, right? So I'm just going to say let languages, and these are the languages that I want to practice. We'll do Chinese, Arabic, Hebrew, Spanish, and German. Why not? All right. I have a code snippet I'm just going to paste over so that you guys don't have to watch me like fumble around the keyboard anymore. I need math. All right, so basically now we're changing the prompt to where it's going to answer the question, but the reply needs to be in whatever language randomly gets chosen out of my language array. All right, so let's play with it now and see. All right, so most helpful bot ever. What is the meaning of life? Sorry, I didn't see the question come in, or I would have used it. Cool. So now it almost looks like by design we're getting it in multiple languages, but that's not what we want. But we can see that yes, this answer it is being answered in different languages probably, and now I get to take it upon myself to decipher and learn another language when I ask questions to the most helpful bot in existence. The only thing here that I still want to do is I want to fix this issue of this long response time that's causing these Slack events to get duplicated. So one thing that we can do here to fix it is, let me hop back over to my VS Code. And because I don't want to wait on the generation of the response to come in, what we will do is copy this. Sorry, I hate live code. I always I forget how to type when it happens. So, oh, did I not copy it? I thought I did. Copy, paste. All right, cool. So I just made a few tweaks here in this version. So essentially what we're going to do now is we're going to make use of the Cloud Queue, where we're going to store the questions as they come in. And then basically all we're storing is the channel that the response needs to go to, as well as the generated prompt. And so for each one of these app mentions that comes in, we're just going to push that message to the queue, and this will allow the Slack API to get its response and not send these duplicate requests. All right. So we can still just run wing it. This will work. We can see our beautiful diagram on the left or right, depending on which way you're facing. And I thought Elad had a question. How do you solve the threes issue? No whammies. It's almost like it knew you asked.
Yeah, you're doing it right now. Wait.
Yeah. So there we go. So now I shouldn't see those duplicate events because we responded quickly enough. The last thing that I want to show off here is this local development experience is nice, but I think what's really cool about this is how quickly we're now able to make the cutover to take this Slack app that we wrote in Wing and put it in AWS. It's very seamless. So all I need to do is basically two things. One, I need to seed the secrets for my Slack token and my OpenAI token that I plan on using. And so we run that Wing secrets command again, but this time we let it know that it's going to be for our Terraform AWS target. That's how I plan on deploying this. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And find my Slack token. There it is. Copy, paste. And my OpenAI token. Copy and paste. I knew that my credentials are going to expire. 1 second. Let me refresh. I screwed up my SSO like 2 days ago. So now I just have to copy and paste my keys until I fix it. Come on. Cool. There it goes. All right. So now I'm going to say AWS, or not AWS, Wing secrets -t tf AWS. Painfully come back over and copy them again. All right, so this will now use AWS Secrets Manager to store that Slack token and OpenAI token for me. And we will compile our code for TF AWS. cd run a Terraform init. And an apply. So the actual apply here, once it gets going, doesn't take very long at all. So maybe we got about 30 seconds to kill. I haven't been staring at our Zoom meet at all, so did I miss any questions? Yeah, tunnel feature is great. I agree. It's like magic. I love it. So as soon as this deploys, basically there's just one step that we need to do to perform the cutover. So I'm going to see a Terraform output in just a moment, and this is going to give me the new URL that we'll use for the Slack events. And there it is. So here we can see that this is our URL for Slack events. We navigate back to our Slack API, hit change, paste, give it a second, and it's verified. Now we save and go back to Slack. And how do you code in the cloud? Yeah, this is like the final thing that needs to work, and then we did it. We got through without a hitch. Thank God. So there we go. It's German. Yeah. If you speak it, you know how to code in the cloud now. All right, that's all.
Amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Are there any questions, feedbacks, comments? Yes, Viraj. Nice to meet you. We can't
Sorry,
hear you.
sorry, team. Yeah, sorry, team. I had to join another call, so got a drop. Sorry.
No worries. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Will be part of the community activity. Yeah. See you next time soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other questions, feedback? We will definitely share that recording through our YouTube. Yes, Yoav?
Hi, very cool, Hasan. Thanks. Feels like magic, actually. One thing that kind of comes to my mind is it seems the API is fairly straightforward. And while we're thinking about cloud abstractions, it kind of seems to me natural, like a next step would be like an abstraction for chatbots in general. And just kind of mentioning it, and maybe you thought about that. Maybe someone looked at like MS Teams or right, Discord we're using now. So does that like fit into our abstraction model in any way?
Yeah, so I did some playing around with this. I forget where I posted it. Yeah, bring Discord. So like I have this like initial demo of trying to fit a very similar API design on Discord, and like 70% fits. Like it, there's a little bit of a challenge, but I definitely think that there's room for it. I think we could probably get like a nice chatbot abstraction.
What's like one of the like major pains or challenges that kind of popped up, if by chance you remember anything?
Yeah, so off the top of my head, I remember two. Like the event systems in Discord and Slack are very different, right? Like in Slack, this is a minor example, but like for Slack, app mention is an event. That's like an event you can listen to. But in Discord, there isn't this app event mention. There's only a new message created, and then that event itself will like contain a nested object that has any mentions that might have occurred, right? So it's a little different with the event modeling. The other thing is the implementation details are a little more challenging in Discord. Like with Slack, when we want to listen to events, we're able to just like set up this redirect URL and get events that we subscribe to sent to us. In Discord, it's you need a constant WebSocket connection where you just get blasted full of like every event, whether or not you ask for it.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Hello?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there might be some value to like creating an abstraction, but not necessarily, right? I think like I wouldn't. I think I don't think that our goal is to try to create abstractions for anything, right? Like I think like one of the things that we have in Wing is like, if you want to create a Slack bot, then that's the abstraction level. That's the right abstraction level for you. If you want to create a Discord bot, that's the right abstraction level for it. It's kind of like with databases, right? Like if you want to use trying to create abstractions for databases is really hard because like there's different semantics, there's different behaviors, there's different event types, right? And so I think like the value of creating something that's like abstract is like in the case where you really want to work at the abstract level, right? Like you really want to think about the world with these semantics. I think technically, of course, we can do it, right? Like we can create an abstract. We can create an abstract chatbot abstraction, and maybe there's a value to be able to like create chatbots that work both on Discord and Slack. So I'm not saying that there is no value to it. I'm just saying that it's not the ultimate goal of anything that we do, right? Like that's my point. I think we should try to, like, we can create like the right APIs at the right level, and then we can, if it makes sense to create higher level APIs. So I wouldn't, I don't know that I would run and invest in this right now, for example, right? That doesn't feel like a valuable exercise at this point, because I don't know if there's a huge use case for it.
Yeah, maybe like bring Discord would be like first step.
Yeah, exactly. Bring Discord. It's easy. It's simple. Yeah. Okay. So different semantics. And then if someone wants to create bring chatbots that supports both Discord and Slack, great. Also pretty easy.
Any other questions? Hasan, anything else? Oh, yes, Shai.
Not a question, but just to say that really amazing job, Hasan, and very, very well integrated with the Latcoin's tunnel trick in the console. I think being able to develop such bots locally and test them with the webhooks, sending data in without having to set up NGRock and and all the things that around it, I think is awesome. And we are working on ways to try and let the world know about it, I guess. One thing I think that can be interesting to do is to refactor Chris's release bot to use the new Slack the new Slack library, and then to also add to it daily and weekly release summaries using OpenAI. So we get notified for every release, but then we also get a daily summary and a weekly summary that is done by OpenAI. And then I think we can release it as an open source, as a standalone open source project, so that everyone can use it. And when they use it, they also use Wing. So a cool thing to try, I guess.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. But didn't we already migrate the Slack release app to Discord, if I remember right? So we need to bring Discord library.
Yes.
Yeah, probably I mean, we can start with either Discord or Slack, and then we can also do the other one, and we can do it in Winglang, we can do it in TypeScript, we can do it in all sorts of things to cater for different needs. But we can start with whatever comes, with whatever is easiest.
Cool. Stop sharing a dead screen.
Okay, I think that this is it, unless anyone else has anything he wants to talk about. Nope, I guess not. Alrighty, then thank you, Hasan. Thanks everyone for joining, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.